The stars stretched endlessly across the black sky, each one like a distant lamp illuminating the void. Captain Ethan Cole gripped the controls of his small human spacecraft as it hurtled through the Veerth star system. His mission had been simple: deliver diplomatic messages, observe the alien world of VeraPrime, and return to Earth. Simple that was. Until chaos arrived like a storm, the communication from the Veerth officials had been unusual, urgent, and cryptic. The instructions spoke of a critical event involving Princess Lyra. Ethan had been warned to approach the palace carefully, but as he neared the grand floating city, alarms blared across the stars. A sudden gravitational pull yanked his ship violently, and he realized too late that he had been trapped in some kind of orbital arena. Ethan's ship was thrown into a spinning vortex of energy barriers, each more dangerous than the last. Blue energy arcs crackled around him, threatening to rip the metal apart. He gritted his teeth, fingers flying over the controls, sweat dripping down his forehead. "Come on! Come on!" he muttered under his breath. With a desperate maneuver, he twisted the ship through a narrow gap in the energy field and landed on a platform below, shuddering as sparks flew. The arena was massive, unlike anything Ethan had seen. Towering walls of translucent metal stretched high into the sky, and glowing runes lined the floor, pulsing like the heartbeat of the entire structure. In the center of the arena, suspended in a cage of pure energy, was a figure that made Ethan's stomach drop. It was Princess Lyra. Her silver hair floated around her like a halo, and her deep violet eyes glimmered with fear and defiance. She struggled against the energy bindings that held her, each movement causing the cage to pulse dangerously. Ethan's mind raced. He had studied alien technology, but nothing like this. Still, humans were good at thinking under pressure. He had to act, and fast. "Don't worry," he whispered, almost to himself. "I've got this." He scanned the arena for weaknesses. The energy cage emitted a hum, and he noticed that one of the ground panels flickered with irregular light. A pattern, perhaps, or a flaw he could exploit. Ethan moved his ship closer, scanning the energy flows with the sensors. His heart pounded. He had seconds, maybe less. "Hang on, Princess. I'm coming for you." Using a combination of manual controls and makeshift tools, Ethan managed to extend a grappling hook from his ship. It wrapped around one of the energy conduits feeding the cage. He tugged, and sparks flew. The conduit resisted, vibrating violently, but he didn't give up. Sweat dripped into his eyes as he adjusted the angle, pulling with all his strength. The cage shuddered. Lyra gasped, her voice barely audible over the hum of the arena. Who are you?" "Just a friend," Ethan said, trying to keep calm. "I'm here to help." With one final heave, the conduit snapped, and the cage collapsed. Lyra fell forward, but Ethan was there, catching her before she hit the ground. She blinked, stunned, and then looked at him in disbelief. You saved me?" she asked. That Ethan nodded. "Yes, but we need to get out of here now." Before they could move, alarms blared across the arena. Mechanical guardians stall, sleek machines with glowing red eyes emerged from hidden compartments. They advanced with precision, their weapons charging. Ethan cursed under his breath. The princess was not out of danger yet. "Run," he shouted. He grabbed Lyra's hand, pulling her toward an exit he had spotted earlier. The machines fired, but Ethan's ship, positioned strategically, created a small barrier of energy, giving them just enough time to escape. They ran, heart pounding, legs moving faster than ever, until they reached a narrow tunnel that led toward the lower levels of the palace. Inside, Lyra stumbled, still catching her breath. How did you do that?" she asked, looking at him with a mix of awe and fear. Ethan smiled faintly. "Humans are good at solving problems when they don't have a choice. But thank you. You stayed calm, and that helped." Lyra's eyes softened. "I never expected anyone to risk themselves for me. Not like that." Ethan glanced at her. There was courage in her gaze, a spark that told him she was not just a helpless princess. She was strong, smart, and determined to lead her. He felt a strange sense of respect. "You're not helpless," he said. You just needed someone to give you a hand. They moved deeper into the palace, avoiding guards and sensors with Ethan's quick thinking and improvisation. Using simple tools from his ship and a keen sense of observation, he managed to bypass security doors and traps. Lyra followed his lead, learning quickly from his methods. Despite the danger, there was a strange rhythm to their escape thrust forming in the middle of chaos. Finally, they reached a high balcony overlooking the palace's central chamber. Ethan paused, taking a deep breath. "We can't stay here, but there's a shuttle bay nearby. I think we can get out through there," Lyra nodded. "I'll trust you." Just as they began to move toward the shuttle bay, a deep voice echoed through the chamber. "Stop right there." They froze. At the edge of the balcony stood the Queen of the Verith, her presence imposing and regal. Her silver and violet armor shimmered in the soft light, and her eyes glowed with authority. "You've saved my daughter," she said slowly, "and yet you are a stranger from another world. Tell me, why should I let you leave?" Ethan swallowed. He knew this moment would decide everything. "Because humans value life, and I could not let her die," he said. "That's all. No tricks, no schemes, just survival and honor." The Queen studied him for a long moment, her expression unreadable. "Survival and honor," she repeated. "Interesting. Your species may be more fascinating than I thought," she gestured toward the balcony. "But fascination does not grant freedom. You will stay in my palace until I decide your fate." Lyra's eyes widened. "Mother," she exclaimed, stepping forward. "He saved me. You can't just keep him here." The Queen raised a hand, and Lyra fell silent. "I am the ruler of this realm," she said calmly. "Decisions are mine alone. But, human, your actions today have proven something important. You are clever, brave, and unpredictable. Such traits are rare in this galaxy. You will remain here for now. Perhaps you will teach us. Or perhaps you will learn." Ethan's mind raced. He had expected gratitude, maybe relief, not confinement. But he forced himself to stay calm. Humans adapted. Humans survived. And humans, he thought, found opportunity even in the tightest traps. "Yes, Your Majesty," he said, bowing slightly. "I will stay." "For now?" Lyra looked at him, a mixture of frustration and gratitude on her face. "Well," she whispered, "it seems your adventure isn't over yet." Ethan nodded, a small smile forming. He didn't know what lay ahead, but one thing was certain. He had earned a place in a world far stranger than Earth, and humans, he realized, could make a difference anywhere even, among stars and alien rulers. As the palace doors closed behind them, the Queen's voice echoed through the hall once more. "Learn, human. Prove your worth. And maybe, just maybe, you will earn your freedom." Ethan took a deep breath. The challenge was set, and for the first time in his life, he felt both fear and exhilaration in equal measure. Outside, the stars continued to shimmer. The human pilot had saved a princess, but now the true journey had begun. One that would test his courage, his mind, and the very essence of what it meant to be human. Ethan woke to the soft hum of the palace, the light of the twin moons reflecting through the tall windows. The Verith Palace was more magnificent than he could have imagined. Towers of polished metal spiraled into the sky, walls pulsed with energy, and corridors shimmered with a faint, ever-changing light. Yet all its beauty couldn't hide the truth. He was a prisoner, albeit an honored one, princess. Lyra waited in the sitting chamber, her expression unreadable. She stood with poise, the same calm confidence that had impressed Ethan when he first saw her in the arena. "Good morning," she said quietly. Or, "What counts as morning in your human sense?" Ethan rubbed his eyes and smiled tiredly. "Morning works, though. I guess it doesn't matter here. Time feels different in your world." Lyra studied him for a moment. "The Queen will allow you little freedom. You will eat, sleep, and train, and watch carefully. She is curious about your species. Some of our scientists want to observe you. Others do not trust you at all." Ethan nodded. "I understand." but I don't plan on causing trouble." "You better not," Lyra replied, a faint smile on her lips. "I've spoken for you before, but my mother, she's stubborn." Over the next few days, Ethan's life became a series of strange lessons and tests. Varith technology was far beyond anything humans had built. Doors opened with thought commands. Vehicles hovered without engines. And holographic displays filled rooms with moving stars, planets, and data streams. At first, Ethan struggled. He accidentally triggered a security alarm while trying to open a simple transport hatch. A group of Varith guards arrived instantly, their tall, armored forms glowing with soft light. Ethan raised his hands, hoping his calm tone would work. "I'm just testing the door." The captain of the guards raised a glowing staff. "You are human," she said. "Explanation does not excuse disruption." Ethan swallowed nervously. "I'll be more careful." The guards left and Lyra appeared, her eyes twinkling. "You really are human," she said softly. "Messing up the simplest things, but somehow surviving anyway." Ethan chuckled. "It's called creativity. Or desperation. Sometimes they look the same." Despite small mishaps, Ethan began to learn quickly. He studied alien mechanisms, noting patterns in energy flows, the timing of security drones, and even the subtle behavior of the Queen's advisors. Humans were adaptable. He discovered that small changes could have big effects, like rerouting energy to open doors or using reflected light to confuse sensors. One evening, the Queen summoned him. Ethan entered a grand chamber, filled with alien nobles. The Queen sat on a throne that seemed carved from liquid metal, her eyes glowing like twin stars. She spoke without preamble. "Human," she said, "you have saved my daughter. But do you belong in this palace, in this civilization? That depends on what you do next." Ethan nodded. "I am willing to help, Your Majesty." "Tell me what you wish me to do." She leaned forward. "There are factions within the Varith who do not support me. They seek to weaken the throne, to exploit your species' unpredictability. You will assist in observing these factions. Prove to me that humans are capable of judgment, cleverness, and loyalty."
Oh.
Ethan's mind raced. It sounded dangerous, but that was human nature. Adapt, survive, succeed. "I understand, Your Majesty," he said. Over the next few weeks, Ethan became a shadow in the palace. He accompanied Lyra to meetings with scientists, diplomats, and military strategists, quietly learning their methods and intentions. He noticed subtle rivalries, whispered secrets, and hidden agendas. Humans could analyze, deduce, and improvise, and Ethan used every skill he had. One afternoon, disaster struck. A rival faction attempted a covert strike. Within the palace, a mechanical drone swarm designed to steal vital information and kidnap Princess Lyra. Ethan was in the observation deck when sensors flashed red. "Lyra," he shouted, grabbing her hand. The princess's eyes widened, but she trusted him. Together, they ran through twisting corridors, dodging the drone's energy blasts. Ethan noticed a pattern. The drones moved in predictable sequences, responding to energy pulses from the palace walls. Using his knowledge of human physics and timing, he improvised a small device from spare energy. Conduits in the chamber. He aimed it at the walls and triggered a controlled pulse. The drones froze, disoriented by the interference. With a quick sprint, Ethan and Lyra reached the armory and activated defense turrets. Energy beams cut through the air, destroying the drones one by one. Within moments, the threat was neutralized. The Queen arrived seconds later, her expression unreadable. Ethan and Lyra stood amidst the broken drones, panting. "You," she said slowly. "You humans are resourceful, perhaps more than I expected." Lyra grinned. "I told you, Mother. He's extraordinary." The Queen's gaze softened briefly, then hardened. "Extraordinary does not equal freedom," Ethan nodded. "I understand, Your Majesty. I only did what I could to protect your daughter and your palace." Over time, Ethan gained the respect of the court. Scientists were fascinated by his problem-solving methods. Guards began asking for his advice on patrol patterns, and even the nobles grudgingly acknowledged his intellect. Humans were unpredictable, yes, but in a useful way. Creative, resilient, and brave. Yet not everything was simple. The Queen continued to test him. One day, she presented a moral challenge. Two rival colonies on VeraPrime were in conflict. One claimed land rights. The other had vital resources. She asked Ethan to devise a peaceful solution. Ethan spent hours studying maps, population data, and resource flows. Using logic, compromise, and negotiation principles, he proposed a solution that balanced both sides' needs. The Queen listened carefully, her glowing eyes studying him. "You have chosen not to exploit weaknesses," she said. "That is unusual. Most would act in self-interest." "I am human," Ethan said simply. "Some of us value fairness, even when it's difficult." For the first time, the Queen smiled faintly. "Perhaps your species has merit. Perhaps there is hope for our future with humans." Despite his growing influence, Ethan never forgot why he was there. Princess Lyra. He spent time with her daily, teaching her about human culture, history, and survival techniques. In return, she showed him the wonders of Verith technology, combat training, and courtly strategy. Together, they became a formidable team, blending human ingenuity with alien skill. One evening, as they walked along the palace gardens suspended in the sky, Lyra spoke softly. "Ethan, do you ever think about leaving?" He looked out at the stars. "Every day. But the more I stay, the more I realize. Maybe humans can make a difference here. Maybe I'm meant to be part of something bigger than myself." Lyra smiled. "I think you already are. The Queen may not admit it, but you've changed how she sees humans. And you've changed how I see my people too." Their conversation was interrupted by a sudden alarm. Ethan's instincts kicked in immediately. "Something's coming," he said. The palace's security monitors revealed the truth. The rival faction was planning a larger assault. This time, it was not just a small drone attack. It was an invasion targeting key sections of the palace. Ethan's mind raced. He had limited resources, limited allies, but the Verith had something humans did not: precision technology and energy manipulation. He quickly devised a plan. Using the palace's energy conduits, he created barriers to block access points. He positioned the palace guards strategically, anticipating enemy movements. He coordinated with Lyra, who relayed real-time information from her vantage points. Humans had never faced this kind of technology before. But strategy, observation, and creativity were universal. The attack began. Beams of energy shot across the sky as the rival forces tried to breach the palace. Ethan's plan worked better than expected. The defenders held, thanks to his guidance and improvisation. For the first time, the Queen watched, not as a ruler judging a human, but as a commander witnessing skill, bravery, and intelligence in action. After hours of conflict, the rival faction retreated. The palace was intact, the princess safe, and the human pilot standing among the Verith warriors. Bloodied but unbroken, the Queen approached Ethan. "You have proven something important," she said. "Not only that humans are clever and brave, but that they can inspire loyalty and respect. I have underestimated your species." Ethan nodded. "I only did what any human would do. Protect those in danger, and survive." Lyra stepped forward. "Mother, you see it now? He is not just a visitor. He is someone we can trust." The Queen's eyes softened, though she did not release him. "Trust is earned, human, and you have earned much. But your freedom, that will come later. For now, you stay, learn, and guide us." Ethan accepted her words. He knew the Queen was wise, cautious, and powerful. He also knew humans had survived and thrived in far more dangerous situations. This palace, this world, would test him in ways Earth never could. But he was ready. As night fell over the floating towers of VeraPrime, Ethan looked out at the stars. The battle had ended, but the trials of trust had only begun. And in the heart of the alien palace, a human pilot had become something extraordinary, a bridge between worlds. The floating towers of ViewerPrime shimmered under the twin moons, casting silver reflections across the palace's energy fields. Captain Ethan Cole stood at the highest observation deck, watching the horizon. He had survived the palace trials, proven humans' worth, and earned respect among the Vareth court, but he was still not free. Princess Lyra approached him quietly. "The Queen has summoned you," she said. Her violet eyes were serious. "This time it is not a lesson or a test. She has a mission for you. Succeed, and you may finally choose your path." Ethan felt a surge of determination. "I'll do it. Tell me what I need to know." Lyra led him through long corridors, past chambers of glowing machinery and halls filled with nobles and guards. Finally, they reached the throne room where the Queen awaited. Her presence was commanding, her silver armor gleaming in the soft light of the energy chandeliers. "Human," she said, her voice calm but authoritative. "Your actions in the palace have proven your courage, intelligence, and resourcefulness. But now I present a challenge that will decide your true worth and the trust you have earned." Ethan stood tall. "I understand, Your Majesty." The Queen gestured to a large holomap hovering in the air. "A rival faction on the edge of our territory has begun aggressive expansion. They have seized resources and threatened innocent lives. You will lead a team to negotiate peace or, if necessary, secure our borders and stop their advance. Failure is not an option." Ethan studied the map. The territory was vast, filled with mountains of crystal, rivers of glowing liquid, and cities that floated above the land. The rival faction was well equipped with energy weapons and advanced drones. Humans had never fought in such conditions, but that was precisely why they could excel. Lyra stepped beside him. "I will accompany you," she said. "You've earned my trust. Together, we can succeed." Ethan nodded. "Then let's prepare." Over the next hours, they gathered intelligence and resources. Ethan examined the alien equipment, learning its strengths and weaknesses. He devised a plan that relied not on brute force, but on strategy and adaptability, qualities humans excelled at. Using the palace's energy grids, they created secure paths for their team and mapped out escape routes in case things went wrong. The mission began at dawn. Ethan, Lyra, and a small contingent of Vareth warriors traveled through floating transport pods, gliding silently toward the rival territory. As they approached the border, Ethan observed the enemy's patrols. Their patterns were complex, but predictable if watched carefully. He instructed the team on timing, positioning, and communication, emphasizing coordination over aggression. "Humans adapt," he reminded them. "Predict, observe, react. That's how we survive." The first encounter came sooner than expected. Drones patrolled the skies, scanning for intruders. Ethan quickly analyzed their movement. Using small energy reflectors, he created false signals, drawing the drones away from their path. The team moved forward undetected. Lyra watched in admiration. "Your instincts. They're incredible," Ethan shrugged. "Just paying attention." Soon they reached the enemy's outpost. Ethan sent a signal, requesting a meeting with the faction leader. The enemy commander, a tall, armored figure with eyes like molten gold, emerged reluctantly. "Human," he said. "You dare approach my territory alone?" Ethan smiled faintly. "I am not alone, and I come with respect. But if you continue your aggression, there will be consequences." The commander laughed, dismissive. "And what can a human do against the might of our forces?" Ethan didn't answer immediately. He observed the commander's behavior, the layout of the outpost, and the placement of soldiers. Then, with careful words and a clear plan, he proposed a compromise: shared resources, trade agreements, and joint patrols. His reasoning appealed to logic, survival, and mutual benefit concepts even the Vareth valued. The commander hesitated. Negotiation with humans was unusual, but Ethan's confidence, preparation, and clear strategy impressed him. "Very well," he said slowly. "We will consider your proposal. But you will leave now, human?" Ethan nodded. "Agreed. But remember, cooperation benefits everyone." As they left the outpost, drones attempted to attack, But Ethan had anticipated this. Using energy pulses and coordinated maneuvers, they neutralized the threat without casualties. The Vareth warriors began to see the power of human ingenuity, the ability to turn even a dangerous situation into an opportunity. Back at the palace, the Queen awaited news. Ethan reported the successful negotiation and defense. The Queen listened silently, her glowing eyes studying him. Finally, she spoke. "You have done more than I expected. You have demonstrated intelligence, courage, and moral integrity. You have proven the human species can rise to challenges far beyond their homeworld." Ethan bowed. "Thank you, Your Majesty. I did what any human would do: protect, survive, and find a way to succeed." The Queen's expression softened. "Your freedom is now your choice. You may remain as an honored advisor, guiding us with your knowledge and skill. Or you may return to your homeworld, bearing the lessons of the Vareth and our respect." Ethan looked at Lyra. She smiled, proud yet understanding. He thought of Earth, his family, and the life he had left behind. But he also thought of the possibilities here, the chance to make a difference, to show humanity's worth across the stars. "We'll return home," he said finally. "But I will not forget what I have learned or the friends I have made here." Lyra stepped forward. "Then go with my blessing. And know that humanity has a place among the stars, at least here in our hearts." The Queen nodded. "Go, human. Carry our trust and respect back to your people." Ethan prepared his ship for departure. The palace staff and Vareth warriors watched silently, their respect evident. As he climbed into the cockpit, he felt a mixture of relief and pride. He had faced trials no human had ever imagined, survived, and proved that courage, intelligence, and moral integrity were universal values. Princess Lyra approached one last time. "Captain Cole." "Thank you," she said softly. "For everything," Ethan smiled. "It was an honor, Princess. And remember, humans are full of surprises." With a final wave, he launched the ship into the starry sky, leaving the floating towers of ViewerShip behind. The stars stretched endlessly before him, but now, he knew, humanity had a place among them. During the journey home, Ethan reflected on the lessons he had learned. Humans survive through adaptability. Humans excel through ingenuity. Humans earn respect through courage and integrity. And most importantly, he realized that being human was not just about survival, it was about inspiring others, building trust, and proving worth, even on worlds far from home. As Earth appeared on the cockpit screens, Ethan felt a sense of fulfillment he had never known. He had saved a princess, earned the trust of an alien civilization, and shown that humanity could rise to challenges far beyond its own planet. The stars would always call him back, he thought. But for now, he had completed his mission. Humanity had triumphed not through power alone, but through heart, mind, and courage. And somewhere, in the heart of the Vareth Palace, Princess Lyra looked up at the sky. Hoping that the human who had changed her world would one day return, Ethan's journey had ended for now. But the story of humans among the stars was only beginning.